Wes, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk about geofarming. And you are one of the rock stars here, one of the most successful agents on our platform who has been able to generate a lot of traction, leads, and so on. My first question would be like, before using Home Optima's Rapid Geo Farming, how were you generating leads?
I was also I was still doing door knocking and a lot of cold calling. So uh, that's honestly been like the primary source of lead generation for me throughout my career. And Home Optima made a big difference to that and how successful it was.
That's awesome. I mean, great to know. What wasn't like in terms of the other tools that you were doing door knocking before Home Optima, I would think, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
What was the struggle there? What was the difficulty there, like in terms of what you were encountering? Just like any agents, because a lot of agents start geofarming and they leave halfway and they're not successful. So tell me a little bit about the pain points in traditional door knocking that you have experienced already.
I guess the first major one is if people aren't home, you are left with no chance to connect. I mean, you can leave door hangers and stuff like that, but they're all very generic. I found it's hard to make them personal when you're doing mass like farming like that. So you would, I mean, in my experience, I never had people call back that weren't home. So you're really just limited to the people who answer the door. And then outside of that, having, again, just something generic to leave with them, or some, like most often nothing at all, it's hard to really build a deeper connection with those people, I found. Yeah. And then understanding, how do I nurture these people like moving forward appropriately, because everybody's plans are different. Follow-up isn't one size fits all. So I would say, yeah, those few things made it very challenging to actually convert. Getting the leads, if you hit enough doors, no matter whether you have something or not, you can get names and numbers and stuff like that. But it was the conversion that was the biggest challenge.
Correct. So I think there are two things. One is the actual offer itself, like what do you go and what do you show up at the door with? And then the next is like, how do you deliver what you promise in terms of something meaningful or something of value to that owner, right? And so when you started the Home Optima, I see like you generate probably 150 leads in 3 to 4 months. And that was a big jump in your database, right? Tell me a little bit more about that.
I never really managed my database that well. So I came into using this system with about like 60 leads in my database. And between the flyers and sharing the tool with my family and friends, I think I was actually at about like just under 200 leads generated and added into the system. And yeah, I think as you mentioned, about 150 of those were from the farming effort. So people that I had never met or spoke to face-to-face, or just in general prior to using the Home Optima system.
That's very, very significant. We've had a lot of users in the system, but that kind of, I guess, like it also goes down to your mindset and your consistency, right? So you were out there, correct? Like, tell me a little bit more about your, like, a week. How would that look like?
Yeah, so I was out there. Again, that's my primary source of lead generation. So I was doing, at first I was out there 5 days a week, but then, my goal was to deliver and have farms of about 500 to 600 homes, because I was in a very specific community and specific neighborhoods that I personally knew very, very well. So I figured if I had 4 different farms, about 600 homes, I could get those done in about a week. That way, every single month I'm showing up in front of those people. So I would do like 100 to 125 flyers per day. And then it kind of changed to about, I would do like 200 flyers over 3 different days. But either way, what I stayed consistent with was delivering those same 500 to 600 flyers each week, every single month. So that was kind of how I approached it.
In a month, you would do 500-600 in a certain farm, and you have 4 of those. So you're going to rotate to week 1, week 2, week 3.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
The first farm. When the next month starts. So that's great. How did you pick the farm? Like, did you pick something that's close to you, or the place where you have lived, or like how did you make that decision?
So it was where I lived, but the town I live in is about 40,000 people. But specifically, it was just neighborhoods that I knew very well, that I had done business in previously. Neighborhoods that I have an interest in. I think they're very appealing to a lot of people. Yeah. They have nice homes. They're mature. Honestly, I didn't pick anything really that crazy. Like I do think it could work anywhere that you choose to use it. I just happened to know those neighborhoods really well, had a personal interest in them, and I thought it would be appealing to those people.
Awesome. And was there any thought behind, like, are these are the people where these are smaller homes where there'd be maybe there'd be more likelihood of being upgrading it, or maybe these are homes where the people who own them don't have really very strong relationship with agents prior because they've gone through a few transactions. Did you think through all these factors, or you just picked something that looked reasonable to you and where the places that you knew?
That's a really good question, actually. So there, I guess, yeah, now that you bring that up, there was a few additional things that I did consider outside of like my own interest and knowledge. I did want to make sure there was a decent turnover rate in those neighborhoods. I wanted to make sure they were properties or neighborhoods where properties were frequently coming up for sale, and that they were actually selling. I didn't go out and choose the most expensive properties. I feel like you could go on the other end of the spectrum. I did do a couple of neighborhoods where there is very entry-level homes that do have an even higher rate of turnover. So turnover definitely was something that I did consider when it came to picking my neighborhood for sure.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, it is where things are moving, people are moving, and then obviously it also depends on if these are starter homes or something where people would kind of upgrade as their family and their needs increase with time. The other thing I want to ask you is I just want to understand the process a little bit deeper. So what was so we talked about the offer itself. So the offer itself, I think, is what we're calling the postcard or the flyer. What was so different in it? What grabbed attention? Like what really helped you with the conversation with the homeowner? Like what that material that you had in your hand?
So personally, I believe it's the fact that the flyers felt so personal. So when it came to the actual strategy and having conversations, I tried a few different things. So I tried knocking every single door. I tried spot knocking, which is just knocking the doors of people where I could tell somebody was home, whether I could see them through the door, vehicles home, things like that. And then I tried no knocking at all. I felt knocking every single door to be pretty inefficient, to be honest. Yeah. More of the conversations and conversions that I had were actually with people who I never spoke with at the door. So I kind of did a hybrid of spot knocking. And either way, whether you talk to people at the door or over the phone, what really kind of grabbed the attention, as you originally asked, is I feel like the flyer felt really personal in the sense that it had their own individual address on it. So it really piqued curiosity there, and they picked up the phone and they were willing to, when you did get people on the phone, they were very willing to have that conversation and ask questions about the tool and listen to what I had to say about it and just kind of entertain the conversation in general.
Wow. So the personalization that triggers curiosity, and then you're adding value in terms of what you are offering. So I want to talk about that a little bit more, but that at the start that they're seeing their home address on a flyer, on a postcard, which probably they haven't seen from any other agent.
No,
like brand new technology. That was helpful in connecting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the only other thing that would have your address on it is a piece of mail directly sent to you. So I really do feel that is a strong part of what grabbed the attention.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, it feels like we are talking about a new way of door knocking without door knocking, if you will, right?
I mean, basically, yeah, really.
We're all scared of, like, many agents are scared of door knocking. Oh my God, the rejection and this and that and the other. And now if you can make something that can connect to people, let's say their home address or something that's really custom with a strong offer, they would entertain and they would scan and they would put their information in there. And that's kind of super powerful, because that really makes the whole process of local farming much more efficient.
Absolutely. And it is a mix of, I think efficiency in the strategy is really, really important, and just getting the numbers of flyers out. Like anything else in real estate or sales in general, it's all a numbers game.
Yeah.
But where the like hybrid model maybe excels a little bit further is you're able to get out a lot of flyers, but also the people that you do speak to in person, that face-to-face piece of contact or part of contact there just builds that much level of, like, a higher level of trust that much more and that much faster. But like I said, most of the people that registered and that I signed up and spoke with and converted, I never actually spoke to at the door.
Yeah,
they just responded to the flyer, whether they reached out to me, registered for it, or whatever the case may be. It was an outreach on their end. So it's inbound leads, really.
That's fascinating. Wow, that's fascinating. I mean, it's I think local marketing material that would trigger an inbound conversation is gold. It is super. So then the next thing was, let's say you went out door knocking, and obviously you will meet as you're dropping flyers. Some people you would come across, right? Even though you were not really door knocking, even though you're just putting the flyers on the door. What was the script what would you say, like, to them?
Honestly, I that was something I didn't overthink. I used to early on in my career, and I just kept it very basic. Like, hey, we have this, I'm not selling anything. We have this free tool for homeowners that basically tracks the value of your home in real time. And I would ask them, like, hey, do you invest in stocks? And like a lot of people would say yes. And then we would just ask them, like, well, you invest a lot of your money in stocks and you can see how it performs. Your home is typically your biggest investment. Wouldn't you want to see how that value changes, like on a daily basis, or when the value does change? And a lot of people are like, yeah, you know, I really never thought of that. And I kind of just took it from there. Some people, like, I just left it there. Other people, you naturally transition into like, okay, cool. Well, just out of curiosity, like, what are your plans? Is this a long-term investment for you? Or are you guys planning on doing something over the next 3 to 5 years? And then again, they just, because the conversation is just kind of going naturally, I'm not selling anything to them. Like 9 times out of 10, they would just open up and share their plans with me.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like such a powerful, simple yet powerful hook, right? And like it's a conversation, and it relates to their biggest assets, number one. And the second thing is, I love that question. I remember hearing this before. That what are your plans for the next 1, 3, and 5 years? Like, you know, like it's just makes them talk. And
yeah, it's not asking an open-ended like, hey, do you have any plans to sell? Everyone's like, no, because they don't know you, right? You just met them. There's very little trust there. So the question specifically is, just out of curiosity, is this your 3 to 5 year home, or is this something more long-term, like 10, 20 years?
Very nice.
Because then they're like, oh, longer term, or no, this is actually like 3 to 5 years for us. Okay, awesome. Well, like, what are you guys doing in 3 to 5 years or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, take the conversation from there based off like your own script or whatever the case may be. But that first question is what gets them to open up and really like understand where to take the conversation.
That's super powerful. Love it. Love it. In terms of flyers, obviously, we talked about property specific. So they're different than generic. They grab attention, so on and so forth. The properties you targeted, it was not like you didn't handpick as such. You were distributing flyers just, you know, to the entire neighborhood, right? To the entire street.
Numbers game. You just got to, like, that was the approach I took. I'm like, I just got to get them delivered. I wasn't picky. It was just, I was more worried about the numbers, and being consistent with it was really important too.
Super. That's so true. Consistency, and just drive those numbers. 2,500 homes you can generate. What we are seeing is about 10 to 20% lead gen. Like if somebody spends a year doing this, you could probably have a 2,500 home neighborhood. You could have like 250 to 300 leads out there. And you've shown that. You've shown that with your numbers.
I think between my 4 farms, it was actually, I think it was closer to, each one ended up being on average like 600. So yeah, that's about right. I had about like 2,400 homes, something like that. And then, I got about 200 leads.
And you distribute a flyer to every home, or you probably missed some? Like, have you done one round with all the 4 farms?
Oh, I did. I did like a lot of rounds. I probably did like 5 or 6, maybe more.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I did it from, it's probably like April or May. I started really getting into it all the way up to like, I don't know, consistently end of September.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit into October.
It's a good time frame. A lot of energy spent there. And I mean, kudos to your discipline, man. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy to get out of the home and get out of that car and go and do this, right? It's not easy. But I guess the other thing is that once you start getting listings there, and once you start, people start seeing your for sale sign and sold sign, and you double down on your marketing there. And even then you could probably do generic flyers. Maybe you don't need property specific at that point, that you could really have a presence in that area, right? Build a dominant brand.
For sure. And it's like, now that I'm thinking about it, it was actually funny because, like I said, I had done a lot of door knocking before, but often I was just empty handed, or sometimes I would do door hangers and stuff like that. And it just is what it is. Like, you might get like a name or two when you're going out there. So I remember going into this, I'm like, okay, well, I have nothing else. This is what I know is door knocking. I was like, I may as well just use the resource that's being offered to me. And so when I, like the first day when I started to see like a handful of leads roll in, I'm like, oh my God, this is actually working. And then over the weeks, it's like it was happening consistently. And so I was like, I thought it was so fascinating and so great how it all works if you use the system right.
I mean, the results are incredible. And you're right. I mean, once you start getting results, even though at a small level, the first week you got 15 scans and 3 leads. I mean, that drives you, okay, my God, that's pretty cool. I didn't even door knock. A lot of these people I didn't even meet, right? And so that kind of gives the drive. So 100%. So now let's go into the next step, where the leads have come. You've either met them, or you're saying most of them just came you left the flyer, they scanned, they registered. And then what happened? What's the next step?
I would, depending on my day, the way I structured it, the flyer distribution was always the first thing that I did. And then in the afternoon, or like usually the scan, like you'll get some scans as you're out there, or like into the afternoon, but for the most part, it's people who are like coming home from work in the evening. So I would, if I had time, I would call them in the evening. The main point is you want to call them as soon as you possibly can to get them on the phone. So like as soon as a scan comes in or a registration comes in, I would phone them. Otherwise, the first thing I would do, like let's say I was already in this routine, is in the morning, call the registrations from the day before and then set up their dashboard. So always within like 12 to 24 hours, I'm getting them on the phone, finding out what their plans are and setting up their dashboard. So I would usually have their dashboard set up ahead of time. So when I'm on the phone, I could say, hey, thanks for registering. I had your I got your dashboard set up. Just want to let you know I sent you an email. And I just wanted to share a little bit about the platform with you so you kind of understand what you're seeing and the features of it. And then I would always ask that question at the end. Hey, quickly before I let you go, is this your 3 to 5 year home or is it something more long term? And that's when the conversation really starts. And then from there is where I knew how to sort them appropriately in my database to make sure that hot, warm, and cold leads could get the appropriate attention that they actually needed, rather than treating them all the same, maybe like over communicating with some people, or more importantly, under communicating with some people and kind of losing out on listings.
Yeah, readier than maybe a short term. There is something coming up. So that 100%. So the leads were generated, and then you would create the dashboard. And we'll talk a little bit about the dashboard because many people not know what the dashboard is, which is the Home Value Hub. That's the other module that Home Optima has. And you will set up their dashboard. And tell me a little bit more about the dashboard itself. Like what would they see?
So the dashboard, they just see a picture of their home. They see a value range, which I liked because it's not like an exact value. So they're not like, hey, like if they think it's far off, they're not getting mad about it. It's like, well, they understand I haven't seen their home, which is something I was mentioned on the phone as well. So I'm like, hey, I haven't seen your home. So I would get it within like 10% or usually closer than that because I know the area very well.
Yeah.
But they would see the value range. There's an option to have them reach out to you and get a pro valuation, which is then when they would have you come in their home so you can see it and get it as accurate as possible. I believe there was a tool where they can input their mortgage information so they can see how much equity they've actually built in the home. And then a lot of just like what's currently for sale in their neighborhood, what's selling in their neighborhood. They can add any upgrades they've done to the property and just things like that, that as a homeowner, people are looking on multiple different websites for. So it's kind of everything a homeowner wants to see on one page.
It's all together. And again, you mentioned biggest asset in their life. People are very proud of their upgrades that they've done to the property. They want to enter it. And it's interesting that you're almost sourcing that information from them. Like
exactly. Yeah.
Putting that, they're click on the Home Value Hub and they're adding their mortgages and they're adding their upgrades because they want to, it's almost, you have a live listing that's being built over time. And some may materialize in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, some may materialize in 5 years, doesn't matter. But it's in front of them, right? They're seeing that every month.
And because it's, what I found too, is because it's everything on one platform, I still see to this day, like on a daily basis, there's always that really like short list of people who are like infatuated with the platform. They're signing in like daily or weekly. And that tells you as an agent using the tool, it tells you exactly like who to follow up with, who's actually using the platform, who has the most interest in it. So it's not a guessing game really. So it's a very cool tool.
It is, and thank you for using it to its maximum value, if you will. There are some of the other agents. We have an kind of AI that is looking at their behavior in terms of who needs urgent attention versus later, and the AI would rank them as like a hot, warm, cold, so on. So somebody who's looking at the dashboard often, or you see an unusual pattern where they would go once a month historically, but now they're checking every week. And now they're clicking on some active listings that are in their area, which look like an upgrade, upsizing, right? And a lot of people want to stay in the same area. And there is the back-end AI can connect these dots. You kind of put out there saying, hey, I'm thinking there is something going on here. You might want to give them a phone call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Some of those analytics that we can add to kind of help people in the timely way that they want to be helped. Right?
Yeah.
What was your end result? Like what? So 4 or 5 months, I think actively you worked on this and you generated all these leads, 150 to 200 leads. And then what came out of it? Listings, any buyers that came out? Like, tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So I ended up getting 3 listings and 2 buyers from it. 2 have already sold. 1 just went on the market. And one of the buyers we're actively searching for right now. Wow. So like real results, like from this, like just this alone.
That's amazing. I mean, speaks what we provided you was a tool, but then the process that you followed and the details and giving them constant value and prioritizing them where they belong in terms of what is too much and what is too little communication. Those are such significant part in those conversions.
100%. And then it just becomes like staying on top of those people, like from an agent perspective, just being diligent with follow-up and stuff like that really helped with that conversion. But again, these were people who were like regularly signing into the tool and that I could see using it. So that helped me understand who to stay diligent with and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Wes, I remember you mentioned something about like Loom videos or something that you would also send them something, make a quick Loom. Like, tell me a little bit more about what medium were you, just emails, or were you communicating, doing some video interaction as well?
Yeah. So I personally like video. Again, it just feels more personal.
Yeah.
So if I didn't get people on the phone, or even if I did, I would always send them additional email just saying like, hey, here's exactly what we spoke about on the phone, and like me showing them. So I would use Loom and just say, hey, it's Wes again. Just wanted to shoot you this video, put a face to the name, and just show you exactly what you can expect and how to use the platform. So I would shoot that for like most of the leads, especially if I knew they were like really, really hot, to have that like build that extra level of trust and kind of deepen the relationship there.
Yeah, I mean, that is great. Video is such big nowadays in terms of communication that many agents have started to use videos. Exactly.
Very powerful.
Yeah, very powerful. Just rapid fire, like biggest mistake in geo farming. What would be somebody, if people are doing traditional geo farming, what's the big mistakes that agents make?
Like overthinking it and then just not giving it enough time.
That's true. And then what is the best tip that you can give to somebody who's obviously geo farming, doing rapid geo farming, using Home Optima agents on our platform? What would you tell them?
To stay consistent with it. You have to keep showing up in front of the same people. But more importantly, like you got to keep doing it. You got to do it for at least a good 6 months.
Yeah.
And like give it time.
You had 2,500 homes. How many hours, and we can scale this to 1,000 homes, which is a typical agent on our platform. How much time commitment is this per week?
So it probably took me, depending, again, it depends on the homes, lot size and stuff like that. But on average, 2 hours maximum to get 600 flyers out. So like, and that would be if I was doing it over like 3 days. So like being conservative, 6 to 7 hours. That's one work day out of your week. It's not much.
Yeah. 6 to 7 hours to do almost like a 700 homes, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Correct? Something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
7 hours of that, and then the leads that you get. Let's say you did 700 homes, and let's say you got whatever 35 leads, 40 leads, and initially you need more time because you need to set up the dashboard. How much time would you spend in just creating the Home Value Hub dashboard? Was that easier to do, to set something?
Oh yeah. Once you learn, like it's just getting over the learning curve. But once you learn it, I was setting up a dashboard in like easily like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like easily, for sure. So like if you had maybe like 5 registrations from a round out, you're doing that in like an hour or less. No problem.
Yeah. You don't need to do a detailed CMS, spend 2 hours.
No. Like, it's really, really easy, especially when you have like all the right systems in place to like help with your description. You have your workflow, you're going into MLS, you know what you're looking for. Yeah, it's super efficient. It's the learning curve that you kind of have to like get through and understand. It's going to take a little while and not even a little while, but like you do it for a week and then you're good. So you learn it over a week and you're fine.
So for new agents who are coming to the platform, spend a week on geo farming and Home Value Hub, setting it up, and you'll get a very good hang of it.
You'll be in a really good flow after a week for sure. No doubt.
Lovely. Thank you so much for going deep into your, especially geo farming and the Home Value Hub and setting up the dashboard process. That's lovely. In terms of agents who are considering this, who have done geo farming or want to have local leads, they don't want to run around with online leads all over the place and want to build a dense, powerful business. What would you tell them, to those who are considering, who are on the fence, who are debating if this is the right thing for them? And the second part would be for the agents who are on the platform. I know you touched on it, but a brief take on that.
For those on the fence, they're obviously looking for more business. It's very efficient to do, and it's a very easy system to learn, and it's extremely effective for the time, like the little time that it does require. And then for those already using it, it's kind of hard to say because I don't know what they are or are not following, but just make sure you're getting you're doing a good amount of volume and you're staying consistent with it. I think that's the biggest takeaway or the biggest thing. And then just make sure you're actually contacting those people. Like if I didn't get people on the phone, I'm calling them every single day for like 7 days straight until I get them on the phone, and then maybe dwindle down the calls to like a few times a week and kind of so on and so forth. But make sure you get the leads that you are getting in on the phone, figure out what their plans are, you can run that quick little one-liner that I had. I found it very, very helpful.
And did you just one thing that I probably missed in the process is people who are on the phone, did you end up like, other than the listing presentations that you did, I don't know how many you did, probably like maybe 10 presentations, how many would you
Yeah, I had probably about that in appointments.
So 10 appointments. And other than those appointments where you would go to their house, did you actually go to their house again when you were in the area again, especially when they were leads, they were not, had not requested an in-person appointment?
Yeah, depending on, usually not after the appointment, but if I've had conversations with people who are not quite ready yet, but they've shared plans, whenever I'm in the neighborhood, I'll stop by, like, hey, I'm in the area, just wondered, like, do you have a quick, like, few minutes for me to just kind of stop by, say hi? Yeah. So like, because you're always in the same areas, if there's people that are warm leads, it's like another way to nurture those people, get face-to-face, build that high level of trust, deepen the relationship and stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely. There's people who I'll frequently stop by their place and when I'm in the area, dropping flyers.
Yeah, relationships, and again, somebody who cares, who gives value, and who again, people. There's so many agents in the marketplace, right? Somebody who's top of mind, somebody who's doing the effort, is providing value. It's a huge benefit. Wes, thank you so much. This is super informative for everybody who is on the platform and people who are considering. I really appreciate you taking the time to give us the details of your success story. And I really wish you the best and a whole lot more success in those 2,500 homes. So super, super thankful for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm always happy to share with people who are curious about the platform.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Awesome.